This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast about the week that was in Bates athletics. My name is Aaron Morris, and on this week's episode, we're looking back on an undefeated weekend for the basketball teams, as both the men's and the women's team swept Williams and Middlebury for the first time in 21 years. Plus, an Alpine skiing sophomore captain had a breakthrough performance, men's squash won a thriller, and the track and field teams are ready for this Saturday's Maine state meet. That's coming up on the Bates Bobcast. The Bates men's basketball team is 16-4 and 4-2 in NESCAC after the Bobcats defeated Williams 67-57 Friday night at Alumni Gym and followed that up with an 89-71 home win over Middlebury on Sunday. Junior Babacar Pouye had a huge game against the Panthers, scoring 22 points on 8 of 11 shooting and knocking down a career high 5 of 7 from three-point range. He joined us live on the broadcast after the win.
You said yesterday your ankle was at 82%, 22 points, 8 of 11 shooting. How did it feel out there today?
It was all right. I tweaked it at midway through the game, but felt pretty good. Having my guys out there, we fought well today, so I was really proud of everybody today.
Yeah, I want to talk about a little bit about your teammate Cole Decker, also off the bench. What's it like? We were talking on the broadcast. This team can go 10, 11, 12 deep, and that showed today with Decker coming off the bench and scoring 16.
That made me so happy. Seeing him turn it on 3 threes, in the first half, that was just so great to see. And then, he kept bringing the energy on defense. I'm just proud of him. I know he puts a lot of work in. It was great to see him show that out today. So I was really proud of him.
Well, speaking of three-point shooting, Decker made 4 of 5. You made 5 of 7 from long range. I know that's an area of your game you've been working on. What was really clicking from outside today?
I don't know. I was nicking them today.
It just happened to fall.
It's been a while since I was able to make them consistently like that. But so my first 2 out of my first 3 go in. So thought, why not keep shooting?
Yeah, and Middlebury is a team that does give up a lot of three-pointers. Is that something you guys were aware of kind of coming in?
Honestly, no. But I've not been shooting the ball great this season, I know teams probably want to sag off on me. So how to come through with that today.
Well, you took advantage of the scouting report even if you didn't necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, to get this home sweep, to be 4-2, you got a great opportunity coming up, right?
Yes, sir.
You're going on the road, a couple of ranked teams. What are your thoughts on this? It's really an opportunity at this point because you have some margin here. You're 4-2, and it can only be a good thing going forward.
For sure.
Yeah.
We got 3 out of our next 4 games are ranked opponents.
Yeah.
But I really believe in our team. I feel like, last year we took Wesleyan number 1 in the country to overtime and took number 13 Tufts to overtime. I feel like, those close games really taught us a lot. And I feel like as a unit, we've grown a lot. And I think we got a lot of resilience and a lot of great ability to close out games. So I think going forward, we'll be able to pick it up and, hopefully give those good teams a big fight.
Still undefeated at home. What's it like to have this crowd supporting you like this?
It's great, honestly. Seeing the Lax dudes out here, alumni out here, all these people who I see every day support me. It's great. So I got a lot. It feels like a big family, So it's great having the community out here to support us.
And the alums, this alumni weekend from men's basketball. It's good to have them cheering on.
Oh,
right?
Of course, yeah. It feels like feels bigger than basketball. All these guys, coming back and supporting, even though they were here like 50, 60 years ago, 20 years ago. It's just great having all these guys back, come back to support us. It just means just shows the culture of the team a lot.
Yeah, we've got some older alums. We also have some younger alums there making some noise throughout the game as well. So, Babacar, any other thoughts on this home weekend sweep for the Bobcats?
Not really. I'm just really proud of our guys. A lot of injuries, a lot of illnesses the past 2 weeks, but we rallied together and we're fighting. So really proud of our guys.
89-71, Bobcats winners. Thanks so much,
Yes, sir.
Babacar.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
The Bates women's basketball team is 18-2, 5-1 in NESCAC play, and ranked 12th in the country by both D3Hoops.com and the Women's Basketball Coaches Association. The Bobcats also swept Williams and Middlebury over the weekend, hitting the road and defeating the Eves 64-51 and the Panthers 64-57. Senior captain Elsa Daulerio had a monster game at Middlebury, scoring a season-high 27 points on 11 of 14 shooting, grabbing 7 rebounds and blocking a pair of shots, giving her 201 career block shots, the third most among active NCAA Division III players. And Elsa Daulerio is our female Bobcat of the week. Well, Elsa, an undefeated weekend for the women's basketball team on the road at Williams and Middlebury. Always, tough road trips. They're long road trips. Tell me a little bit about how it went from your perspective, getting these 2, key wins as we enter the thick of NESCAC play here.
Definitely a long road trip, but it was great. I think our focus this weekend was just being the more consistent team. I mean, there's a lot of up and downs in the NESCAC right now, and I think these two teams, to us, just looked a little bit more inconsistent, and so we just wanted to prove to ourselves that we could stay consistent for 40 minutes of the game and just finish those wins, and yeah, I think we did a great job.
Well, and I think Sarah was on last week talking about that need for consistency because I feel like with the talent being, fairly even, going on the road, it can be tough. I mean, that consistency factor can be the difference, right?
It definitely can. And we struggled a little bit in both games, I would say, just continuing to work on that. I mean, Williams, we were down, I think, a little bit in the first quarter. Then we came back, but Middlebury, we were up by a lot, and then they kind of crawled back too in the second half. So, yeah, just finding ways on defense and offense to just stay consistent is huge.
And for you, you had a season-high 27 points against the Panthers, coming off a game against Williams where they obviously were focused very much on you. So how were you able to kind of maybe bounce back from a performance you maybe didn't like against Williams to have such a big one against Middlebury?
Yeah, I think I definitely focused on just being a bit more aggressive in the paint, and I think both teams defended me in a different way. But, I was really happy about how aggressive I played on Sunday. I think, Williams was just like a different style of help that they were bringing for me, but always great to get those passes out of the paint, and I know my teammates are going to knock down those shots. So, I was really happy with that win, and I think, I was just focused on, all the little things, getting more boards, getting more foul calls, which I did, which was great,
Well, I noticed in the mid-game, I mean, you were hitting shots from, just in front of the three-point line. I think there was one where your foot may have been just in front of the line. Mm-hmm. So expanding that range a little bit, how much have you been working on that in practice also?
I have, I'm really trying to get at least 1 3 in my career. But, I actually really do like shooting threes. In practice, we do, like, a few drills where it's only threes, and, I mean, I knock them down in practice, so I think it's definitely a little out of my comfort zone, but if I could just take one step back, it'll be fine, and I can knock it down.
Well, Sarah was saying that you're actually better at half-court shots than she is. You make a lot of those in practice?
I do, actually, Love those.
And then, obviously, we have a home weekend this Friday and Sunday. Trinity and then Wesleyan. Friday night should be a fun game, right? I imagine a good crowd. I mean, Trinity's a decent team. What are your thoughts on kind of this big home weekend, your final regular season home weekend? And, oh, by the way, senior day on Sunday.
Yeah, super excited for senior day. I think for both of these teams this weekend, just continuing that trend of being consistent. I know we say it a lot, but it's just really big for us. And I think that every team that we play in or out of the NESCAC is just going to bring their best 40 minutes against us. So we got to do the same and just continue to stay sharp and have a lot of fun together, play together. And, super excited to play an alumni and not be on the road this weekend. It'll be so much fun.
And speaking of, senior day, you're one of 4 seniors on the women's basketball team. What's this class kind of meant to you as a group going from year 1 to now?
Oh, my gosh, so much. We've come so far. I think I'm just so proud of our class with our mindset for this past 4 years. We have just stayed consistent individually and as teammates, and for each other especially. We're always there for one another, and it's just so special to come into Bates with these 3 women and leave Bates with these 3 women. I mean, they mean the world to me, and it should be a really fun game, and just, excited to celebrate them and me, I guess. But, all together, it should be a really good day.
And you reached 200 career blocks in that Middlebury game. You're at 201. Did you realize you were close to that kind of mark?
I didn't, actually. But that was, very cool to see.
3rd active among NCAA players. I mean, in terms of blocking shots, that's something that there's an art to it, I suppose, right? You don't want to foul, and you're pretty good at that. How do you develop that ability to block it without fouling?
Yeah, I think a lot of my blocks come from my help defense, and so being able to step up at the right time and not too late, I think is very helpful in terms of not fouling. So just stepping into help like as soon as possible, I guess. Kind of depends on what the situation is, but loving to get those rotations and to get a block, I guess.
Yeah, and overall the team obviously right now at 18-2. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the year you had 2 years ago, right? You had such a great start to that season as well, ended up with 24 wins. I mean, we're in the middle of it, but how would you kind of compare this year with maybe your sophomore season with all the success you've had? Is there a similar feel to the team, or is it, kind of different this year maybe?
That's a great question. I feel like in terms of our success, yeah, I do feel that same vibe, and just the way that we're not satisfied. I mean, sometimes I look at those old highlights from that season, and you can hear like Morgan Kennedy just saying like, oh, we're not satisfied still. So I think that's huge for us, especially as we get closer to playoffs and both tournaments. So excited for that. But yeah, I'm just super proud of this team, and our depth is just a lot different than sophomore year. I think we have 16 players versus 12. So
that's true. That was a small roster. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very small. But yeah, I think, that same mindset of just not being satisfied, and we're ready to go.
Absolutely. Elsa Daulerio, our female Bobcat of the week. Bates is home Friday, 7 p.m. against Trinity. Again, Sunday, 1 p.m. against Wesleyan for Senior Day. It's also, we're celebrating National Girls and Women in Sports Day. That's always a lot of fun before the game in the Gray Cage. 2 more home regular season games remaining, but something tells me there's going to be a few more home games after that. Thanks so much for joining us on the Bobcats. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
The squash teams traveled to Wesleyan and took on the Cardinals on Sunday, and the match stood tied at 4 apiece, with only first-year Tanish Tangri's match still going at the number 6 position in the lineup. Down 2-1, he rallied for a 3-2 victory, fending off 3 match points and prevailing 12-10 in the 5th game to secure a crucial win for Bates. Tangri's victory was his 5th of the season, and he is our male Bobcat of the week. Well, Tanish, first of all, before we talk about your thrilling match against Wesleyan, tell me a little bit about your background from Pennsylvania, growing up. How did you first get into the sport of squash? What it made it appeal to you?
We had some really close family friends that played, so me and my sister, we both played growing up, and we kind of learned it from them because we had no other sport to do. So we were just like, hey, let's just try it, and then got into it from there.
So pretty young age, or?
I've been playing for like 8 years. I wouldn't say young. We were kind of late in the game because we started like 12. So by that time, everyone's been playing for so long.
What appealed to you about the sport the most, I guess?
I always liked sports with hand-eye coordination. I played baseball before that, so I just think that part. I wanted to play a one-on-one sport too because I liked that more than being with the whole team. But I guess there's also a team aspect to squash like here, and I played in high school too with the team, so that makes it. You get both sides of it. Yeah, certainly. It's
an individual sport, but you're definitely, playing for your team.
Yeah.
And you were definitely doing that on Sunday in quite the thrilling match against Wesleyan. It came down to yours. I mean, it was tied at 4. You were down 2-1. I mean, at what point are you realizing on the court that your match is the deciding match?
So when I walked on, our senior captain was also playing, but he was 2-0 up. Looked like he was going to win. So kind of when I walked on, I knew it. Lost the first game pretty bad. Came out in the second game, won 11-0. Then lost the third, and then I was like, okay, I got to turn it on. And in the fourth game, again, I went down like 8-2. Came back, won somehow like 11-8, and then fifth game, luckily, was able to do pretty much the same thing, down 10-7, 5 match balls.
Wow. Down 10-7, you won 12-10.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, take us through. I mean, were there any particular memorable points specifically from that?
When you get in those situations, I kind of just try and play as long as I can, make no mistakes, let the mistakes come from my opponent, which, I played one really long rally at 10-7, kind of seemed like he got tired, so I tried to serve as quick as I can, get him to, return quick. He made an error. Then 9-10, I kind of just kept the momentum going from there, and yeah.
Excellent. I mean, what was the celebration like with your teammates after the victory?
There is a video of that somewhere out there, but yeah, kind of just did a inside joke that we have with them as a team from this show that we like watching, Prison Break, if you've ever seen that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's about it.
Did they swarm you on the court, or?
No, they were kind of they were banging the glass.
They were banging
outside,
the glass,
but when I came out, then it was like they swarmed me outside. Yeah.
all the squash matches you've played during your time, going back to, when you started, where does this rank? Is it up there?
Yeah, I would say so because I've played deciding matches before, and let's just say they didn't turn out like this one. So this is memorable, getting the win for the team. We definitely needed this win as well to increase our chances to play at NESCACs in a few weeks. So
kind of a roller coaster because you mentioned, I noticed that the second game you won 11-0. At that point, what's going through your mind? Like 11-0 after losing the first game, like, is that a little confusing almost? Like, I mean, it's nice to win 11-0, but it's like almost like what just happened there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of got to have a memory of a goldfish in that situation. Just kind of forget about it because anything can happen, right? Like I lost the first game 11-4. So, and I didn't do that very well. I didn't replicate it, so ended up losing the third game and then just had to forget it and move on, next point.
Is that typical though? Like, I mean, that it seems like it's rather unusual to have that difference of results between games.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a little bit unusual. If it's going the length of 5 games, usually every game is close. Not like, well, the last 2 games are pretty close, 11-8, 12-10. But the first 3 were like, I got destroyed, and I destroyed him, then I got destroyed. So
Definitely a roller coaster. I mean, you're talking to your teammate. I know the squash players often coach each other during the match. Who are you talking to between games there, and what were you talking about?
Yeah, so when I went down 2-1, the 2 captains kind of took over. Just they didn't really coach me on squash. They were just because I know what I need to do. They're more so reinforcing like what's at stake. Just go out there, fight every single point, run for every ball, die for every ball. Whatever you have to do to win the point, just go out there and do it.
Well, just talk a little bit about your new coach, Nadia, this year. What have you kind of learned from her in your first year of college squash?
She's great. Yeah. Probably one of the more stricter and like to the T coaches I've had, which is great because sometimes, we can get off task and she kind of puts us right back on topic to what we actually need to be doing.
And then you have senior night. I think there's only one senior on the men's squash team.
There's
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what the plans are for senior night.
Well, we still got to get our gift for him.
Yeah,
we gotta get some posters, but just hoping we can win. If we win, we get to play at NESCACs, which is obviously a big deal. We've dealt with one of our top players getting injured this year, out for the year, but it's just next man up. We gotta go out there and win 5 matches, whoever it's gonna be.
Is it win and you're in against Bowdoin, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, win, we're in, pretty much.
Gotcha. And then, I mean, what's been the biggest adjustment for you personally to the college squash level after playing, in high school and growing up? I mean, what's been the biggest thing you've had to kind of adjust to this level of competition, I guess?
Yeah. So there's like a rating system for squash players.
Sure.
So
Yep.
when I first came in, my captain told me like, ratings aren't everything. Like there are some players, no match is easy is what they told me. And I didn't really take that seriously until I started playing people rated lower than me, like the guy I just played. And I was like, wow, these people are actually good. Like there's a new level of physicality that's not the same in junior squash.
And so that's just take everyone seriously, basically.
Yeah.
In terms of playing with a team, I mean, you said, did your high school specifically have a squash team?
Yeah, we had a team.
Okay.
We were a good team, top 5 at nationals a few years. Yeah. And
so because like some squash players come to Bates, it's like the first time they've ever been on a team because they're played juniors like individually. But for you that team atmosphere, you already kind of were used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. So what's the Bates men's squash team like? What's this group like, especially maybe your fellow first years?
They're great. I mean, we spend a lot of time together on and off the court, whether it's squash, homework, whatever it is. I think the long bus rides, get to know each other a lot more.
You mentioned Bowdoin is this Friday. Then you're actually at Colby, it looks like, on Saturday. And then after that, hopefully, NESCAC championships. Bowdoin's ranked 21st. Bates is ranked 24th. So it should be a good match. I mean, what are your things? Are you doing any, looking at who you're going to play or anything like that? Or do you kind of ignore that?
I look at who I'm going to play. I don't look at their match history or anything like that.
Yeah.
Kind of just maybe watch a little bit on them, see how they've been playing recently. But, just, if everyone goes out there and does their job, then 5 people will win, and that's all we need. So,
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Bobcast. Congrats again on your thrilling win there. I didn't realize you were down 10-7 to win 12-10. That's pretty dramatic. So, Tanish, thanks again for joining us on the Bobcast, our male Bobcat of the week, and good luck this weekend against Bowdoin and Colby.
Thank you.
The skiing teams competed at the Dartmouth Carnival on Friday and Saturday, and the best performance of the weekend belonged to women's Alpine sophomore captain Helena Jankovic. She took a career-best 16th place out of 94 collegiate skiers in the slalom on Saturday, helping the Bobcats finish 6th overall in the event. Well, Helena, what a performance for you. I mean, this weekend, as the team did pretty well in the slalom, getting 6th place overall as a team. You turned in really your best performance yet. Take us through your 2 runs. What stood out about them?
I put in a lot of time this summer focusing on my training and specifically slalom. So this is my first finish of the season in slalom. So I'm definitely very happy with my performance and how the team sort of performed overall. I know one of our freshmen, Will, grabbed some NCAA points this weekend as well. So that was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, you were able to get 16th there out of 94 collegiate skiers, and Will got 29th out of 97 collegiate skiers in the men's race. Top 30 obviously gets NCAA points. You know, you mentioned your first finish, and people should know, I mean, you might have a great first run, but sometimes the second run might trip somebody up. Have you had that happen to you this year, where you have
So this year, actually, there's something called straddling in slalom, where it's essentially the pole that you're supposed to go around, sort of the tip of your ski can kind of hook up with the snow, and like your turn essentially is completed too quickly, and so the pole will go in between your legs. And so if that happens, obviously you aren't able to complete the run and like finish the race. That disqualifies you. So unfortunately, that is what happened to me both at the past 2 slalom races. So I was definitely happy to be able to link up 2 runs this time around.
Do you know exactly when that happens? Like, oh man, that's it, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell when you're like the pole will go in between your legs, so you can like feel that.
Gotcha. And do you just keep going anyway? Or do you pull off the course?
Yeah, you have to pull off the course.
You have to pull off when it happens, yeah.
If you keep going, there's actually a thing called sanctioning, and basically you get in trouble, and you have to, it like messes up your race the next weekend.
Gotcha. So you better stop. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So this time it didn't happen. What's the key? I mean, you mentioned, you've been working on it a little bit. I mean, what's been some things you've been doing in practice to kind of, avoid that happening?
Recently, I've been trying this new approach in training where I'm treating it more of a race sort of situation. So even today, I took 2 runs in training, fully timed, full intensity. And I think that has sort of correlated with better skiing in races, just to make the 2 environments as similar as possible to each other. I've realized that when practice is sort of treated as just like training, you're just going through the motions, it's hard to then step into the race mindset, and you're trying to perform super well on race day, and honestly, you don't have that foundation from your training days where you are trying to perform at that same level. So
great. And you're a captain as a sophomore. What's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. Definitely there's a bit of a learning curve, as there is with all things in life. This year we did go to Colorado in the fall, so that's working a lot with Kerr and like doing some logistics there to just try and get everyone on the same page for traveling, and other logistics was kind of the biggest role this fall. Going
back to what you mentioned as straddling, is that what trips up people the most? Like, if someone doesn't finish a run, is that the most common reason?
In a slalom, I would say straddling is probably one of the most common ways to not finish. Yeah.
Interesting. What about the GS? What trips up people there?
GS typically is just like a wipeout or a big crash. Yeah.
And we had this on Instagram, but GS or slalom, which is your favorite?
I like slalom better.
Slalom better?
Yeah.
And why is that? What makes slalom your favorite event?
I think slalom is just, in my mind, more technical and sort of more just the turns are shorter, and so there's more sort of coming at you at a fast pace. Like, okay, turn, like a lot more technical sort of aspects to that, and I just enjoy that more.
Great. And then, I mean, growing up, how did you first start getting into competitive skiing? I mean, people ski recreationally, but what about competitive skiing?
So actually, I have an older brother. He's 10 years older than me, and my parents are from Serbia, so they didn't really ski there. But when they came over to the States, they, started recreationally just skiing, and they put my brother on skis, and he started racing. He never really he didn't ski in college or anything like that. But I they just put me in skiing after him.
And did you like it right away, or did it take some time?
Initially, I mean, obviously it was so fun to just be with my friends, but one of the biggest aspects was our coach would just make our training sessions and like races so much fun. Like she'd bring this huge sled just full of different types of candy, and honestly, that was the best part for me.
As an incentive, sort of?
Yeah, okay, like, okay, I'm gonna go skiing today. Like, I know my coach Jill, like, she's gonna bring the Sour Patch Kids today. So.
And then when did you start getting serious, like in high school, or?
Yeah, a lot of alpine skiing is sort of a weird sport where a lot of people typically end up going the ski academy route. And so I did that my freshman year. I went to this place called Waterville just for my winter term. So like I started off in regular public school, went to the ski academy for the winter, and then was supposed to go back to my original school in Massachusetts, but just continued on for the rest of the year. And then afterwards, for my final 3 years of high school, I switched to a different ski academy called Burke. And similar environment, just like everyone there is at that school to focus on ski racing.
Did you take a gap year or two like some skiers do?
I actually did not, but it is very common for people to take gap years.
So when you're looking at colleges, what made Bates the place for you coming from Burke, which I believe is in Vermont, right?
Yeah, so Burke is in northern Vermont, but coming to Bates, what a lot of people don't realize with alpine ski racing and skiing just in general is that aside from training time, a big time commitment as well is just your travel time.
Yeah.
So for us going to Sunday River, it's an hour and 10-ish minutes, which could sound like a lot, but compared to a lot of the other schools, like we race against Boston College, we race against Harvard, and obviously those schools are in Boston. Like for them to train somewhere or even like they have to wake up at like 5 a.m. to leave the school, go ski for a few hours, come back. Even St. Lawrence, they ski at Whiteface. That's another 2 hours for them to go. So that's 4 hours out of your day just spent traveling. But Bates has a pretty good setup. Sunday River is only an hour away. And they have a T-bar there, which is super good for lap time. So you can take a lot of runs in a training session.
For those who don't know what T-bars are, can you break it down for us?
So a T-bar is basically, instead of a chairlift, it's like a surface lift.
Okay.
And it kind of is just a cable that runs, and there's a plastic attachment that gets pulled off like from the cable, and it's shaped like a T, so that's why it's called a T-bar. And then the T is sort of upside down, so one person will be standing up on one side of the T and one person's on the other. And the middle sort of end of the T is being pulled up the mountain. So you don't really sit on this lift. Your skis are still on the ground. It's just like dragging you up the hill.
And that makes things better because?
That makes things a little, not necessarily better, but it's just a faster way to,
okay.
Yeah.
And then also we have Lost Valley, which is really close.
Yeah.
And not a full ski hill, but it's still good for training, right?
Yeah, we actually are planning to go there tomorrow.
Yeah.
We typically go there, I think, once a week, normally Wednesday nights. Like, we typically leave for our carnivals on Thursdays, so Wednesdays it's nice to be at Lost Valley, just quick. Okay, like after classes, we're going to go there, take a few runs. Everyone can then finish up their packing and get things prepared for the next day.
Is the hill significantly smaller than Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do you say, like a fourth the size? Or
Probably. Whenever we time at Lost Valley, it's different each day or each course set, but it's normally somewhere around the 20-second range.
Okay.
And then when we go to Sunday River, it can vary from like 40 to 50 to 60, depending.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then, I mean, you know, as a sophomore now, your second year, you know, doing college skiing, what are some things maybe you learned your first year that you've applied to this season?
Yeah, I think especially coming from a ski academy where you do train every single day and the training intensity is there, and you kind of everyone there and the professors that you're dealing with in high school know sort of your main intent is skiing and know sort of they're familiar with that world. So I think last year I definitely learned, I struggled at first with just not having the same amount of consistent training and like preseason training that you would normally have in a high school academy environment. But I think I've learned now to just really make the most out of my training. And learned how to communicate better with my professors and sort of stay more on top of things.
Yeah, that's a good point because, like in high school at a ski academy, everyone there knows, hey, we're at a ski academy.
Yeah.
Whereas Bates has a lot of different sports, including skiing, but it's a little bit different, probably communication with the professors, right? Yeah.
And even in high school, in the fall, teams will go to like Colorado or to Austria or to Switzerland, go on all these trips, and the teachers there know that, okay, like the kids are going on this ski camp this week. Let's maybe break up and we're going to have a little lighter course load.
Gotcha. So have you skied all over Europe and stuff?
Yeah, I think I've skied all over Europe, but I think one of the coolest places I've been is Chile.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they have Southern Hemisphere. Their seasons are sort of flip-flop with us. So in the summertime here is winter there. So that's been pretty cool culture and just like cool experience overall.
What's your favorite mountain you've ever skied on?
My favorite mountain, I would probably have to say it's Jackson Hole.
Okay.
In Wyoming here in the States. Just because when I was there was this crazy huge snowstorm. I was originally there for some U18 national races, but they got canceled because of just the crazy amounts of snow we were getting. And so my whole team just went and free skied in the powder, and it was one of my best just free skiing days, which we don't really get a lot of out here.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I mean, looking forward to the rest of the season. This weekend, you guys were at Dartmouth this past weekend, and now you're going to UVM, Stowe. Yes. I assume you've skied there before. Tell me a little bit about what you're expecting this weekend at Stowe.
So I have skied GS races at Stowe before, but I've never skied a slalom there. Okay. So I'm definitely interested to see how that compares and sort of where that course is going to start, where it's going to end. But typically the GS, if I'm remembering correctly, is just like starts off kind of on a pitch. And honestly, the most notable part is the final pitch called Horse Barn. You kind of, when you come over that, you can't really see where the next gate is. Oh. And so that sort of trips people up a lot. But a lot of the team is from Stowe and has had a lot of experience skiing at Stowe. So I'm feeling pretty confident about the Bobcats there. Yeah,
great. I mean, the team, especially on the women's side, had some pretty good finishes so far, including fourth in the GS earlier this year at the Colby Carnival. I mean, that as a captain, that must be great to see.
Yeah, it really is great to see everyone like stepping up. And we've had a lot of, I think, changes within our Carnival team so far. So it's really just going to show the depth of our team and that any given week, like anyone could perform well, I think.
Excellent. Well, any other thoughts you wanted to share on the season so far and what you're looking forward to the most here as we get down the stretch?
Probably I'm most excited for the Williams Carnival, which is coming up not this next weekend, but the one after that, just because Williams is based out of Jiminy Peak. And growing up in Western Massachusetts, I've skied at Jiminy Peak a lot, and my family will come to the race. Hopefully we'll maybe stay at our house. So I'm just excited to be in the Berkshires for a bit.
The track and field teams geared up for this Saturday's Maine State meet by sending athletes to both Boston University and the track at New Balance. On Sunday, senior captain Evan Migdole set a personal record in the 400 meters, racing to the finish in 49.96 seconds. Good for 7th on the Bates Top 10 all-time performance list. Well, Evan, before we talk about your big performance in the 400 meters the other day, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a senior captain now here as a Bobcat from Connecticut. Tell me a little bit about growing up, what put Bates on your radar for college?
Yeah, sure. So, I'll go back to when I started track. So I've been doing track since I was like 9 or 10 years old. I joined a club team called the New Haven Age Group Track Club when I was 9, I think. And I started off doing distance. So I did mainly the 1500 and the 800. I did cross country and track through high school, played some other sports too. But ended up getting recruited for track. I was looking at a lot of the NESCAC, so I got recruited to some of the other main schools. I was looking at like some other NESCACs like Hamilton, and a few others, Middlebury. But I guess what led me to Bates. So I guess originally I'd say I was like throughout high school I really wanted to go to Bowdoin, and then I viewed. I toured Bowdoin, I toured Bates, Colby. I looked at all three when I came up to Maine. And Bates really stood out to me. I think like when I got to college, I was really nervous about like acclimating, and I think like Bates felt like a really good fit for me. And then obviously getting recruited helped me as well. So that was part of the reason I ended up at Bates. But Bates really just had kind of like a homey feel to it. I really liked the campus, and I've been happy with my decision. I think I really like the team, and also being at a small school, I have found that finding more niche groups within that is really important, and finding people within clubs and activities helps you form these like little social groups. And track has been a really good social group for me.
Big team also, and you're one of the captains. What's that experience been like?
It's been awesome. It's cool because like when I was a freshman, I really looked up to my captains. Even sophomore year, like I think I really looked up to the captains I had. I mean, they were great leaders for me. And so, being a captain now, I try to like think about that and what they did for me to help me kind of view them as leaders, but also like a friend, and kind of like how they formed that relationship with me. And I kind of try to do the same thing as well. But yeah, it's been pretty cool. I think like one thing about the track team in past years is that I've definitely had to take on a little more of a leadership role, like even ever since freshman year, which has been kind of a unique experience. And so I think like jumping into the captain role, I was kind of used to like, talking in some like circles with the team and stuff like that already. So that helped a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think the people before me had done a great job leading, and I kind of just try to take after that.
So 400 meters, 49.96 seconds there at Middlebury. That's 7th all-time at Bates. Cracking that top 10 list, obviously a PR. Take us through the race a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So going in, my goal was sub 50.
Mm-hmm.
My PR before that, I'd run 51.59, I think, on a flat track, which is about like a 50.7 conversion. So in high school, I'd run the 400 a little bit. And going into college, my goal had always been like sub 50. So to finally do it is a very cool experience for me. In terms of race strategy, I think like my goal was really just to get out hard. I know my heat didn't have anyone like seated under 51. So my goal was really to get to the break first and cut in first, because I didn't want to get stuck behind anyone. I came through pretty well. I came through in like 23 mid, which had me like right on pace. And I'm more of like a second half of the race type of runner for the 400. So I think my endurance kind of kicked in and helped me out on the second lap. And I was actually thinking about leaning at the line, to be honest, because like I just really wanted to break 50 and I knew it would be close. Or diving actually, but I didn't. Yeah, I did not dive, and the lean got me there, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people like dive at the end before. Does that actually work, or does that slow people down?
I don't know. I think it can help if you dive properly, if that's possible.
Right.
But yeah, I think pretty high risk of injury if you're diving.
Yeah, I've not been to the track at New Balance. Is that flat track or banked?
It's a bank.
It's a bank. Okay.
Bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a pretty heavy bank.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
How's that compared? Yeah, like because some of the guys ran at BU. I mean, how's it compared?
Yeah, BU is like known to be a very fast track,
Right.
like one of the fastest in the world.
Yeah.
New Balance definitely has more of a bank to it. Like if you're in one of the outer lanes to start the race, when you're in the blocks, you're literally at like a huge angle, which is kind of a weird feeling. But yeah, New Balance is still a pretty fast track, but BU is like notoriously known to be one of the fastest. But yeah, I mean, I like the New Balance track. It's a newer track.
Yeah.
So I think people are kind of still getting used to running on it.
So when you cross the finish line, how long do you see your time kind of pop up?
It was like a few seconds, and then I looked up, saw it. I'm typically right after a race, I'm on the ground for like 20 to 30 minutes, to be honest.
Okay.
And I think I was super tired, but I saw the time, and I got this like little adrenaline boost, and I like got super excited. It was pretty cool. And then a few minutes later, I was on the ground for like half an hour. But yeah, it was very exciting.
Now, you've run a variety of events for Bates. It was a 600 meters at the Bates Invite. You were part of a relay there as well. You've done the hurdles before. Tell me a little bit about, the type of events you typically run here. I see occasional 800 meters there. Is that what 400, 800 kind of your comfortable range?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, I came into college as more of like a 400, 800 runner. I think I've definitely become more of a sprinter since then. Sophomore year, I started doing the 400 hurdles. Coach Johnson, I think he saw I had long legs and was pretty tall, so he decided to throw me in the 4 hurdles. And I was pretty good at it, so I've stuck with that. So yeah, I mean, I do a variety of stuff. I even ran the 100 freshman year or sophomore year. But yeah, I think my main event is the 4 hurdles, which I'll be doing this outdoor as well.
Did you do hurdles in high school or
No, I started in college.
So your first time doing the hurdles ever here at Bates. Take us through, like, that's got to be an adjustment, right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I was honestly not as nervous compared to most races just because it was something new. And I think, like, typically when I go into a race I've done a lot before, I have very high expectations. So I didn't really have a high bar for myself for that. I mean, I was just kind of going out there and running. And it was a Wesleyan meet outdoors. One of our first, I think it was actually our first meet of the year. It was super rainy. And I still did pretty well. And I just stuck with it, and I slowly got faster and faster throughout the year, and I ended up doing pretty well in the event by the end.
Great. Well, this weekend we have, of course, the Maine State meet being hosted by Bates at Merrill Gym on Saturday. This is a very exciting meet because it's really almost the last one that everybody kind of gets to participate in if they're healthy, and obviously you're trying to win the state championship. Tell me a little about the team's mindset this week.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty excited. You know, every year I think our goal is to win Maine States. We definitely have more depth, I think, like across the board than we have in the past. I think one unique thing about track that like you get in other sports but not as much is in order to win, you kind of have to hit across all cylinders. So like, you know, you need good throws, you need good jumps, you need good like middle distance, long distance. So there's like all these different components that have to come together for the team to do well. And I think we kind of hit on all those components, or at least for the most part. I think the sport of track as a whole is getting a lot more competitive, and you can see it with like just NESCAC times across the board. Yeah. But we're pretty excited, and I think we have a good shot at winning, both on the men's side and the women's side, which is awesome. I know the men won last year, and the women almost won. Is pretty close. So hopefully this year we can bring it home.
Yeah, certainly. Well, speaking of the NESCAC, obviously this was not a NESCAC meet, but you got to see a lot of NESCAC athletes at this past meet there at track at New Balance. Tell me a little bit about that in terms of like maybe looking a little bit ahead to outdoor season, kind of seeing what you're up against a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, there is certainly some very good competition out there. I think it's interesting because like every year, for me at least, like it feels like I'm going against the same names and the same athletes. There's always obviously like a few different names every year, but it's interesting to see like, you know, the people that are really good and then like the next year they're not as good, or there's people that are like decent one year and then the next year they just have this breakout and they're really good. And I think I've definitely seen that this year. I think teams across the board are recruiting better, and a lot of D1 talent is going D3 now. So it's just getting more and more competitive. The qualifiers are more competitive. And I think Bates is doing a pretty good job keeping up, but it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, well, I saw also now for New England's, they have like a provisional qualifier and auto qualifier. That's new, I think.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I noticed was, you know, even if the times don't necessarily get better year to year, which they are, but disregarding that, there's now like an auto qualifier and then the provisional, and the auto is like super competitive in each event. Like right now, I think only a few kids in the 400 across New England have it. So your next best bet to qualify is just to be in the top 24 provisionally. Well, you have to get the provisional qualifying mark, which is a little easier. But to be in the top 24 is super hard just by virtue of the fact it's getting more competitive every year. So yeah, I mean, it's super hard to even get to New England's now. I remember my freshman year, like the 600 qualifying mark was like a 126.5, and this year it's like the auto is like a 122 flat, which is insane.
Interesting. Well, I mean, in terms, and you've touched on this, the same names every year, and sometimes they aren't as good. Sometimes they're way better because track is, you know, I've talked with athletes about it. It's not like a linear progression, right?
No.
You might have a great time one week and then not even approach that, you know, for weeks or years after. How do you handle that kind of from a mentality standpoint? Because it can probably be a little frustrating, right?
Yeah, it's super hard. I mean, like last year I pulled my hamstring multiple times, which was like a big setback for me. And I think like running in general, and honestly, you see it a little more with distance runners, just because like they're always running is like it's just super hard mentally, even more than physically. And I think the best thing to do is like you really think about why you even do the sport in the first place, and that's kind of what I've done. Like, why do you do it? Why do you love it? And I think part of it for me is like it's very rewarding when you do well, and so like visualizing the positive result keeps me motivated. And like even through injuries and stuff like that, trying to be positive and like see the best outlook is really all you can do.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, looking at your time this past week, it was a provisional qualifier. The auto looks like the auto is a little bit lower. 49.06 got an auto bid. It looks like, yeah, something like that. Someone from only 2 people got an auto one.
Yeah.
And so I imagine your goal going forward is to. I mean, where are you in the rankings right now? Do you think you're going to make New England?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think right now I'm like 16th or 17th.
Okay.
I looked in past years. I think the mark you need will probably end up being a little faster based on previous times. But yeah, I think the goal will be an auto. I think like conservatively, if I could get down to like a 45.6, that would probably get me in, which isn't an auto, but like pretty close. And I think that would probably get me in the top 24. It's
40. You mean like
a 49?
Okay, I was going to say 45.6 would be very.
Sorry,
fast.
I meant 49. Yeah,
that'd get you in.
Yeah, like a 49.6
Gotcha.
I think would probably get me in. But yeah, in the past, before last year, I don't remember it being as competitive as it has been.
Well, any other thoughts you wanted to share, as a captain based on, kind of what you saw from your teammates perhaps at this past meet there on Sunday?
Yeah, I think kind of along the lines of what I was saying before, I think part of track is like being able to hit on all cylinders, and our team has done a pretty good job of that. The throws are doing great.
Yeah.
Matt Charpentier and Ryan Glazier, they both had some huge PRs this weekend. I think they both had PRs.
Matt had an indoor PR, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know like our women's 200 group did a great job. We had like a ton of people in the 200. Some of them, it's not even their main event.
Right.
4x4 did a good job. The 4x4, honestly, relays as a whole are getting just more competitive, and it's super hard. But I think we have some depth there as well, which is good. But yeah, no, I mean it was a good meet overall. We've got a few injured people that hopefully when they come back they'll be strong contributing members as well. But yeah, no, I mean we're definitely good across the board.
Excellent. The Bobcats are hosting the Maine State meet this Saturday at Merrill Gym. Field events should start around 9:30. Track events a little after 11. Evan Migdole, 49.96 seconds, 7th all time in the 400 meters here at Bates indoors. Thanks so much for joining us on the Bobcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron.
It's a busy weekend of home events for Bates Athletics. On Friday, the squash teams host Bowdoin at 6 o'clock for senior night at the Squash Center. Meanwhile, women's basketball is home on Friday and Sunday, taking on Trinity and Wesleyan at 7 p.m. and 1 p.m., respectively, with Sunday's game marking Senior Day at Alumni Gym. Meanwhile, the track and field teams host the Maine State meet Saturday at Merrill Gym. Find the complete schedule of upcoming Bates Athletics events by going to GoBatesBobcats.com. And we'll talk to you next time on the Bates Bobcast.